Yes, first of all, may God's goodness of truth walk with you. My fellow countrymen, I say that knowing our country, unlike any other country, is a country of world's people. Let us put aside our divisional differences, in which administration after administration has failed to correct. For what we, as a species, have failed to correct, what we, as a species, have arrogantly chose to ignore. When it has become a custom to point fingers of blame before reflecting on actions of our own first, what we as people fail to balance, the universe itself will. For the cries of the innocent fall not upon deaf ears. Cries are always heard as long as there is a light of goodness that shines in the universe out there. When tyranny has reached its heights and the words and deeds of truth are no longer in sight, when the term principle has no other meaning than the amount owed on a loan, when the spirit of equality is replaced with a spirit of self-interest and greed, when we turn a blind eye to the grievances of the defenseless and the works of the wicked, when men no longer gather to sit at the table of truths, when getting over is more customary than getting right. For a country set to be established on the pillars of justice and truth, when the oppressive means of elected officials succumb to the election of we the people, when the common sense of men of honor stood up for even those being dishonored. Those were men and women whose blood still flows in the veins of those living today. When against what seemed unsurmountable odds of a revolutionary war, when the forces of tyranny opposed truth, justice, reinforced by an unsurmountable spirit. For there is a goodness in this universe. There is a goodness upon this earth. This spirit, you find it not in the phone book. This spirit, you summon it not at your will. But wherever you find men who stand for justice, wherever you find men with grievance of heart, wherever you find those who rise to the opposition of unsurmountable odds, in the midst of that field, that spirit will beckon to that call. It empowers righteousness that wickedness might fall. Only that which is right, or it comes not at all. My fellow people, we have been asleep way too long. The founders of this great nation left provisions, a means that men who died for the beliefs of truth and equality, that its cause should never be repeated again. The right to bear arms against all threats, foreign and domestic. when amongst elected leaders we no longer find any truths to be self-evident, when the glare of the big screens and arenas took our eyesight away from our school grounds and our civil duties to have an interest in our own political interests, when it became cool to be considered tough and philosophy and intellect became a thing of the past, when our lack of involvement sent our children to engagements overseas not knowing a cause to be right or wrong, when the value of an entertainer or athlete became that much more than that of your children's teacher, public service workers, and soldiers abroad, when we disregard the heated call of tomorrow only for the self-satisfactions of today. Not only have we been asleep, but we have also been rolled out from the bed when separatism, racism, sexism has caused a great divide. When you walk in a firearms store, and for years we have purchased weapons, not in the protection of our liberties, but in the means of concealment, to engage only that and who which has not been concealed. Why it would take someone with no eyes to see or ears to hear to not notice the change encompassing the planet. Let us not walk in a spirit of doubt, fear, or greed. Let us not continue to engage in the very same mentality and morality which has only led us to this very same tipping point we are at right now. Whatever is to be will be. Whatever a person's race, color, or religion, we can be looked upon as a set of savage cannibals who tore themselves apart, or a civil species who, not being perfect, fell victims of that imperfection only to learn and grow. There comes a time when men and women need to grow up from the silly differences that have been so easily manipulated to tear us apart. It is easy to bring up the objections of yesterday, only to throw away today and tomorrow. It is easy to take advantage of the meek, which will always bring you back to where you are at now. If you want better for yourselves, if you want better for your children, then that better must start with you. For words without meritful actions behind them become simple rhetoric talked over a board game of life at a cost idealistically real. Let us not target servicemen who have left their families in an effort to help you with yours. Let no one knock your door after dark, nor citizen or government impose forceful removal of those willing to reside in their homes. Not all things are right, but in dire times one may only look for one another to do that which is wholesome. For a problem cannot be resolved with the same level and means of thinking in which it was created. If you hope towards a higher end result, one must be willing to push one's own thinking to a higher state of mind. In times of adversity and uncertainty, I do know one thing. Where there is life, there is hope. Hope, in this meaning, is no longer applicable only if the living isn't living. If the road of life has not ended, then neither has the sunshine of hope either. We are fathers, we are mothers, we are children of tomorrow, countrymen, human beings. Above all, let the world and the universe know that you will not disappear, that mankind resides here. Y'all have a blessed night and take care.